All right, we are back. The one and only OSB Sports Podcast Show. I'm Scott Matthews. I'm here with the one and only CEO of the Sports Profits, Mr. Teddy Brooks. You know, Teddy, we are missing one of our compadres, one of the Musketeers, Tommy D, the big kahuna.
Is not here.
I think we can handle it, though. I really do.
I think we can take the weight on our shoulders here. We had a really nice week last week. I think we hit, if you combine all of our plays, we hit well over 70% last week. So we had a really good week. If anyone was watching this show and they made some wagers on our plays, they were successful.
Especially those Thursday nights. We've been crushing it on Thursdays. I'm 5-1 this year on Thursday nights. I had that prop play, Russell Wilson on the 218, and went under by like 120 yards. It was like crazy, like stealing on that one.
Beautiful prop. I went 1-1 on the college on Thursday. Tommy had prop Isaiah Pacheco over on receiving yards. That one hit easily. And
way to go, Big Kahuna.
Yeah, let's give the missing man a round of applause. But yeah, it was a good Thursday, and it was a good week. I mean, we came all around. Tommy had Arkansas, and then I came back and said, yeah, Arkansas might cover the game, but Alabama's going to take the first half. Both of those came through for us. So it was a good week.
Yeah, a lot of good stuff going on right now. College football heating up. We got some, we'll talk about it a little later, obviously. We got some great matchups this weekend, especially one in the Big Ten. Two of the best teams in the country going at it. And we got some NFL. We got a lot of baseball going on, NBA. I mean, this is the time of year we get jacked up. I'm sure you're ready for all these ventures coming up this month and next.
Very excited. And a little extra note, college hoops starts on November 6th. So we're only about 3 weeks away from college basketball starting, which is my... If you guys follow my channel for the last few years, it seems to be my highest percentage sport. It's a grind.
I love college
a lot of
hoops.
Games, but I don't know. I think you would agree with me, Scotty. When you have so many games, you have more opportunities to find the mistakes that the odds makers are making
1,000%.
and to win.
1,000%, Teddy. 1,000%.
Even on a day like today, there's like 2 college football games, 2 hockey games. It's tough when there's only 4 games, 5 games.
You don't have a lot of options.
Yeah.
And you know what? When you have more games, you have more options because you could stay away from stuff you're really not interested in chasing after. A lot of guys chase games. We go through this every week talking about everyone's chasing whether it's a 7 o'clock game at night and then the 10 o'clock games. But, I'd rather wait for that right opportunity to strike, find the right price on a game that I think I have an edge based on the work that I do. I'm sure you'll feel the same way. And, the more the merrier because we have more opportunities to find key mistakes versus on a board with, like you say, there's 4 or 5 games. You're not going to find that many mistakes. They're going to be tight numbers.
Yeah, it's hard to surpass a good percentage if you're picking every game on the board. I mean, I think you would agree. If we picked every game on the board, we go 50-50 at best, right?
Maybe, if we're lucky.
Exactly, at best. And that's really not where it's at. Now, I just want to, before we get in these games, I have one thing. So I have a video that talks about how my YouTube channel did 60+% last year. Someone commented on this video, and it makes me laugh. It doesn't make me upset. It makes me laugh, and I want to educate people. Someone commented, this guy's saying 60%. If you're not hitting 80 to 85%, don't do it.
You're no good.
You're not good. But yeah, that's basically
Crazy.
what he said. So I just want to let everyone out there know that if you do follow a sports betting channel that's claiming in the 80% region,
change the channel.
Change the channel.
Like this with the remote. Quick. Go like that fast.
Because
nobody's doing it,
they are
guys.
outright lying to you. And
unless you only play 5 games a year and maybe you win 4 out of 5. But if you're playing hundreds of games, Teddy's the same way as I am. We're probably putting out in the neighborhood of 400 to 500 selections a year. Think about it. If you won 65% of those plays, you're making a ton of money.
Ton of money,
guys.
Yeah.
You gotta believe it. If it's sugar coated and you want to believe in it, that it's a fantasy, go right ahead. But the reality is, if you could stay at a 65% clip, you're doing absolutely outstanding through a 365-day season. We're talking all sports, all year long. That's going to make you huge profits. You agree?
Yes, I do. And being selective, like I said, on a day like today, my personal clients, I might text them and say, we're not betting anything today.
I don't blame you.
Nothing on the board.
I don't blame you. Day like today is a day to take a break and come back firing when you have something that makes more sense. Because, again, the chase game is wonderful, but you're putting real money out there, guys. Why risk your money and just throw it around for no reason? Think about it. This is not monopoly money we're talking about, not blue 50s, and yellow 10s. This is real money, and you really should protect your money and look to try to build it just instead of throwing it around on these games. But I think we touched on that enough, unless you want to add to it.
No, I'm ready to get into these games.
I'm ready to rumble.
Week 8 of college football.
Amazing.
You believe it? I mean,
Yeah.
I know we say it. We've been saying this the last couple of weeks. The season flies through, and, it's funny. It seems like baseball and hockey, those seasons go so long.
Love hockey.
Hockey's great.
Especially early in the year. A lot of opportunities out there, like you say, to find bad numbers and before these teams get adjusted. So, a lot of, and hockey too, they don't put out real injury reports like they do in some other sports. They kind of put them out sugar-coated. So you don't really know how banged up certain players are, and you can really take advantage of it based on looking at numbers and mistakes they make, and you could really zone in and hit a good percentage, especially in the first month or two of the NHL season.
You made a great point there, Scotty. The lines right now are weak in hockey, and as the year progresses, they get stronger and stronger. And really quick, here's what I mean by that. You might have a team in a matchup right now where that team is minus 130, where once the odds makers catch on to things and figure things out,
different
3
line.
months later, that team's going to be minus 160 or 170.
Well, the other way around.
Right.
Based on how they are at that point.
Take advantage of the value early in the hockey season.
All right, guys, we got a lot of games coming up this week. We got a big-time matchup on Thursday. Not the greatest matchup in the world, but a pretty solid matchup. You got the Jacksonville Jaguars, 4-2, winning a couple of games in a row, playing overseas. I think it was in London, correct? They won their last 2, beating Buffalo. You got the New Orleans Saints. They're 3-3. They're at home in the Dome. The current line on this game, guys, is New Orleans is down to minus 1.5. It was around 2. It's down about 1.5 right now. The total is about 39.5 to 40, depending on what books you have it at. And I want to ask you, on a game like this, because we have been crushing these Thursday night games, you have a strong play on this game?
I don't have a strong play. I would totally stay away from the side on this one. I would lean under. Traditionally, you can't really go wrong betting Thursday night unders. They seem to hit more than they don't. So I would lean under, but this is a tough matchup. You got 2 quarterbacks. Yep. Is Carr playing? Carr's playing,
yeah,
right?
He's playing.
So, I mean, you got 2 quality quarterbacks, Carr, Trevor Lawrence, and it's probably going to boil down to who plays better out of the 2 of them, but I'm not picking a side on this one.
I'm going to agree with you 1,000% on that. I think it's going to be the defense that makes the difference in this game. I think it's going to be a battle to put points up in a game like this. I think there'll be mistakes, turnovers, stopping drives, maybe instead of touchdowns, field goals. I think that 40 points is looking sweet. I like the under in this game. I feel that both these teams are solid on the defensive side. Tough place to play. Throw records out the window on games like this. I think they're going to zone in on Lawrence, try to stop that running game a little bit, and force him to throw the ball, and he could make mistakes. And Carr is known for mistakes as well. So I think this game has potential to definitely go under that 40. So I like that play.
Yeah, and that's all I would do, and it would be a light play for me. It's another Thursday night light play. I like a college game on Thursday also. Okay. I like Rice. Now, you could tell me what you're seeing the line at now, but I'm playing it at 3.5. If it's at 3, I'm buying the hook on this one. Both teams are coming off of a bye.
I'm showing, just to let you know, I'm showing 3 pretty solid at a couple of the books, the major books. 3, Tulsa 3, 57.5. Game starts 7 p.m. Eastern.
And this is one of my lighter plays of the week also. Rice had a bad week against UConn the last time they played. But besides that, solid defense, 13th in passing yards. They can really pass the ball. And, Tulsa doesn't have a good pass defense, and I think that's the big difference maker in this game. Tulsa has a good rushing defense, solid, but Rice doesn't run the ball. They pass the ball. So Tulsa needs to figure out a way to stop Rice in the air, and they need to force turnovers. But if they just have a mediocre game, I think both teams coming off of rest, I think Rice takes
All right.
Maybe not the win, but with the points.
You like it at 3 or you
3.5.
I'm
I'm buying the hook.
Okay.
Absolutely.
So you heard it there. He likes Rice. Teddy Brooks on Rice plus 3.5. Buy the line unless it goes higher. Guys, don't forget we're doing these shows earlier in the week, days before the games. In this case, a day before this game. If the line does change and you could get a better price, obviously, if it goes up to 3.5, maybe a 4, I'm not going to speak for the man, but you probably would want to get the line to plus 4, maybe even if you can get an adjustment in your favor, because it's always good to get the numbers in your favor. That's what I've been looking for years. The edge.
Yeah, that's how you reach those higher percentages too. I mean, that could be a 5% difference on the year.
Worked for me great with Oregon last weekend. I mean, I gave all my private players Oregon, told them to buy it to 4. It was 3 on the show at the time. I said leave it at 3. But as it got closer to game time, and I'm talking to my players, obviously on the day of the game, I made everyone jump that line. I thought the right price would be at 4, and it worked out great. So it does work. You know, it doesn't work all the time, but it definitely can work some of the times, which makes a big difference financially.
Speaking of that pick, we were both pretty spot on with that.
You crushed
that
it.
Teaser that I put out there made it nice and relaxing for me because that teaser really couldn't lose towards the end of that game. It was pretty much impossible with Oregon leading. By the way, really quick, Michael Penix, that kid is a stud beast. I think he moved into the favorite spot after that game.
Oh, Bo Nix gave him a run for his money. He had an unbelievable game, Bo Nix.
Bo Nix is great too.
I think he outpassed him, didn't he, in that game?
I'm not sure.
I think he did.
But Bo Nix, and the thing is, at the end of the game, Bo Nix did what he had to do. He drove down the field. They just missed the field goal.
Well, you called it. You said that game's going to be an exciting, high-scoring type of game, and it went down to the last, plays of the game to make They scored at the very end, Washington, to pull it out, and it was going back and forth.
That game is the one that I watched on Saturday. I knew it was going to be a fun game. So you just know sometimes, you know.
Was that a 4-hour game?
It was a long one. It was, was it, 70-some point game?
More. So I think it was in the 80s or something.
Yeah. 41 to 38
something
or
like that.
42 to 39. Yeah, it was a fun, high-flying game. Loved it. And Michael Penix, Bo Nix, that Pac-12 is impressive.
Well, we got to go on to this week because that's last week, and we did our job, and we helped the people out. And hopefully you guys listen to us and you play these games and you benefited. That's the bottom line. We're here to try to do the best job we can to give you that winning edge. And when we do find the edge, we feel very strongly to put these plays out on the show. So take advantage of what we're saying. And we've got some games. We got a huge board of games. I'm looking at it right now on Saturday. I mean, obviously the big one is the Big Ten matchup between Penn State and Ohio State. I don't know if you have a play on this game or you don't have a play, but obviously the attention, obviously for the rankings and things like that is going to be on a game like this. You got number 7 Penn State, number 3 Ohio State. Somebody's O is got to go in this one. What do you think? Whose O's going?
I don't really have a play on this one. I think Penn State has been. What do you have the line at?
It just jumped up a little bit. I'm showing it between 3.5 and 4. Ohio State at home, 45.5 on the total.
Yeah,
I don't know the weather conditions going to play a role there, maybe.
So the big, this year I've been looking really closely at certain conferences, and certain conferences I haven't. And it's funny because the ACC is one that I haven't, but I have a big play in the ACC this week. But Penn State, they've been exceeding expectations all year long. Ohio State playing with the new quarterback. I would assume that this is going to be a field goal game either way. So my gut instinct, now this is not a big play. This is a lean at best for me. But my gut instinct would take the dog, buying the hook, assuming that the game's going to end by a field goal one way or the other.
You'd take Ohio State?
Yeah.
Okay, so you'd buy it down from 4 to 3, right? It's 3.5 to 4 in most places at this point.
No, I'm taking the dog.
You're taking the dog?
I'm taking the dog.
Okay, so you could go up to, it's 4 right now.
And I would just leave it at 4.
Okay. I'm agreeing with you big time on that play. I like definitely Penn State in this game. I think they are so well-rounded team. Ohio State, I don't think, has faced a team like this. They had struggles against Notre Dame, basically, to get the win at the last play of the game. Now they're playing against a powerhouse like this. This team is the real deal on both sides of the ball. Very well coached, obviously, on both sides of the ball. Ohio State is a great program. I think they got their hands full in this game. I love dogs. This is a dog I love. Best bet, 10-star winner for me on this one with Penn State. I would get that line, guys, just to reassure yourself. Current line I'm showing is 4. I jumped this number to +5, buy it up to 5, a full point buy up, and take Penn State plus the 5. Huge play for me on this game.
Yeah, I love it. And the thing is, Ohio State started out the season.
They're strong, man. They're a strong team.
Ohio State started out the season kind of rocky, just not beating the teams the way they should. And if you look at the numbers, Penn State has covered every single spread this year. They're demolishing teams. I think maybe the most impressive win that they had was a team that they usually struggle against, which is Iowa. Blew them out and shut them out.
Crushed them.
Blew them out and shut them out.
Yeah.
I want to backtrack really quick, Scotty. I have a Friday, Wisconsin, Illinois. I don't even know if that's Friday, but that was my next game on the list.
The only game on Friday is
I'm
SMU
skipping
and Temple.
Friday. Wisconsin, Illinois, though, while we're on the Big Ten, this is one of my stronger plays. Illinois is a team that's improving. I like what I'm seeing from them. They beat Maryland, barely, but they beat Maryland. This quarterback, Luke Altmaier, he is coming into form. And Tanner Mordecai, Wisconsin's quarterback, not that he was lighting the world on fire, but he's not playing in this game. This is going to be the backup's first career start on the road. And this is a team that's already 1-5 against the spread against non-ranked teams. I'm taking the home dog, Illinois, +3.5. Neither team has dominant numbers against the spread, but I'm fading. If you go online and you look at the expert free picks, everyone's saying Wisconsin. I'm fading them all, and I'm going with Illinois +3.5 with an improving quarterback going against a no-experience backup.
Yeah, Wisconsin's, I don't know. They were playing good for a bit. They were going through a stretch. It looked like they were getting on the improve again, coming back to be a powerhouse, and they've hit the brick wall again on their last they played terrible. They're 4-2. Illinois obviously is 3-4 at this point in time. They're 2.5, by the way, Wisconsin on the road.
I'm buying at least the hook on this. I don't mean to sound like a broken record, but it's just with that key number of 3, I'm always buying off that number or on it or past it. But, yeah, no Tanner Mordecai. Braden Locke is the backup quarterback for Wisconsin. No experience. He did play a couple drives at the end of the last game, but no. He's not going to go into Illinois and blow them out. It's not going to happen.
All right. Sounds good. Hey, this man, listen to this guy. He does his homework. This is what we do, guys. We pour in long days every day throughout the entire football season and every sports season. So we're always looking for that edge, and if we feel we have it, we put it out. Hey, I just want to let you know I'm jumping to Tuscaloosa this weekend. I'm going up there to see the game between Tennessee and Alabama. So I'm going to have some good footage from that game. I'm not making a move on that game, but the current line is Alabama's 8 over Tennessee. So I'm going to check that game out and have some fun up there in Tuscaloosa this weekend.
That's going to be a fun one. Tennessee has a solid quarterback, solid program. They beat them last year.
Yep.
They won that. It's going to be tough.
It's tough to come back and beat Nick Saban, though, a couple of years in a row. That's a tough task to do.
Tough task. And
not many have done it.
And you guys heard what I said about Bama last week. I said they're coming into form. I predicted last week that they were going to win out the regular season. I predicted that their quarterback was starting to come to form. They did worry me a little bit. Me and Tommy both had the right call on that. I said they were going to come out hot, first half cover. They did that, and then they only won by 3. So
yeah,
they need to finish. They need to finish games.
24-6, I think, right? At one point.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. The first half won. Game didn't cover. Me and Tommy both got it right, but they need to learn how to finish those games if they want to go long into the season, into the playoffs.
Well, we got a couple other great games going on Saturday. Anything else on Saturday is your best bet of the day?
Now this is contingent on if Riley Leonard plays for Duke. But if Riley Leonard, the Duke quarterback, plays, he's questionable, but the coach, Mike Elko, sounded confident in a press conference. He said, I think he will be able to start, but he's still listed as questionable. If he can play, I think that this Duke team puts up a fight against Florida State. This is one of the premier games.
Wow, that's a ballsy play.
And I don't normally have my big plays on premier games two top 25 teams. This is number 16 versus number 4, I believe, something like that. I like Duke on the road right now. They're plus 14. I would like to see what happens. Now, here's the thing. If they announce today, tomorrow, Friday, Saturday that Riley Leonard is definitely playing, the line will probably move. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to play it now. It's at 14 on most sports books. I'm going to buy the hook to 14.5. That line can move a couple of points if they announce that Riley Leonard is definitely playing. Listen, FSU is an incredible team.
Yep, powerhouse.
Jordan Travis is a great quarterback. They have great receivers. They are explosive. Duke has a great defense. Duke is number 4 in scoring defense, but let's be honest, they haven't faced a team like Florida State. So I think, will they contain Florida State? Probably not. Will they win the game? Probably not, but I think they could keep it closer than 2 touchdowns. And another thing that I want to point out here, this is a low total on this game. So when you look at a game like this, and this can go for a lot of games, this is a piece of knowledge that the people watching this show can take with them on their own to other games. When you see a high-flying offense like Florida State, a 2-touchdown spread, and then you see a lower total, that bodes well normally. It correlates for the underdog to cover that spread normally. So keep that in mind.
Well, especially on tough games like that.
Yeah.
Definitely. All right, I got a strong play I'm putting out on Saturday. These are teams that are currently both have the same record. Boston College travels to Georgia Tech. They're 3-3 each team. I love BC in this game. Current line I'm showing is 4.5. I'm going to leave the number right there at 4.5 with BC. I feel that's the right side of this game. I wouldn't be surprised, guys, if BC pulls the upset. I like it plus the 4.5. I feel it's probably one of my top plays on Saturday, along with obviously the Penn State play. But I do like Boston College. They play against teams like this really well, and they find ways to stay in games like this, and they find ways sometimes to win games like this. So they play well against big time teams sometimes, but they definitely can eat up on teams that are on their level or underneath them. So I like BC as a live dog plus 4.5 in this game Saturday. You want to move to the NFL? Or?
I only have one NFL. I have 2 more college. I'll get through it pretty quickly. I like West Virginia money line against Oklahoma State. Not a huge play for me, but I like it. They should have beat Houston in that last game. That was a weird game. They got penalized for taking their helmets off too early. That gave Houston enough yards to get close enough to the end zone to throw a Hail Mary and win that game. That's a crazy ending.
Yeah.
When you see a penalty like that ruin it.
A lot of crazy endings this year.
But this quarterback for West Virginia, Garrett Green, very impressive. Only 1 interception all year. I like West Virginia to win the game. Money line, I think it's like 140. And then I also like Texas Tech on the road against BYU. Think that Texas Tech's numbers are above BYU in every category. BYU knows how to win at home. They're 22-3 in the last 25 games at home, but only 1-7 against the spread in the last 8 at home.
They got to bounce back off. They got their asses handed to them last week on the road, but big time.
They did.
Yeah.
They did.
They didn't look good at all.
And the only reason, Texas Tech has played really quality teams compared to BYU. BYU's schedule has been weak. Texas Tech has played Oregon, West Virginia, Houston, who's Baylor, who's K-State, and that K-State game, that was their worst game out of those 5 score-wise, but their quarterback got hurt, came out of the game, their backup didn't play. My Texas Tech play is partially contingent on Bayron Morton starting for them, kind of like my Duke play is a little bit contingent on Riley Leonard starting. So we got to see with these starting quarterbacks if they're going to play or not.
All right, and I got one more play I like. I made some good money on this game last week. I had Missouri. I put it on the show as my best bet, and they beat Kentucky outright pretty damn easily. They fell behind 14-0. I was like, oh, my God, I'm in trouble here. And they just stormed them after that. After that, it was all Missouri, and they ended up winning that game, I think, by, was it like 16, 18 points outright, or 10 points, whatever the case, outright as a live dog. I love them coming home. Now they're ranked in the top 20. They are number 20, and they are ranked up there. They're coming in with some big-time momentum. They played excellent on both sides of the ball, defensively and offensively last week. They're playing against a weaker opponent, I feel, in South Carolina than they are at this point. The line is only 7 on this game. I would definitely buy this number down to 6 at this point. If you could lock it in at 6 right now, I love this game, and I think Missouri wins this game by at least a couple of touchdowns. I just think that they're on all cylinders, and they're going to come fired up in this one. So
Yeah,
definitely,
I like that
definitely
play.
like Missouri in this game.
I looked at that game and I thought of you, Scotty. I was looking through the games this week and I looked at
Yeah,
that
crushed
Missouri.
'em.
I looked at that line moving from 6 to 6.5. Now it's at 7 on most sportsbook, and the 7 is juiced. That's something for you guys to look at. A lot of times when you see something at 7, but it says minus 115, that's when it's teetering to about to hit 7.5. So keep your eye on that. That line will probably, in my opinion, and I'm sure you agree with me, that line will probably move to 7.5 or 8
It probably would.
as the week goes on.
I don't think it'll drop, that's for sure.
No.
I think if anything, guys, I would lock into this game. Like I said, we do these shows early. I would get this number down to 6, and I feel very confident that Missouri will win and cover this game. Definitely.
Yeah, and I'm just looking now. South Carolina doesn't cover the spread against Missouri historically, so I like that play
Just
also.
like the way they're playing. And when you start following certain teams and you track them the way we do and watch these teams inside and out from both sides of the ball, and just the way that, the momentum of one team's going versus another team, and now they're playing against each other. And the number on this game, I feel, is a weak number. I want to take advantage of it because I feel that South Carolina doesn't have the power like Missouri does at this point. So jump on this game, guys. Missouri is a very live play. All right. Anyways, are we done with college football?
We gave the people a lot of college football this week, so I hope you guys take advantage with it, but that's all I got.
All right. Well, there's some good matchups. I'm looking right now. There's some excellent matchups. I don't know if you're on any of these, but let me just run a few by you. The Detroit Lions, probably the surprise of the NFL at this point in time.
I would say so, but maybe not because of Jared Goff. I think that Jared Goff is a very impressive quarterback. Dan Campbell is a very impressive coach. But, yeah, I mean, they have some wins that have surprised me, but a lot of people have been on them from the start.
They got a really interesting matchup, Detroit, this week. They're going to Baltimore, and the current line on this game is, Ben, we're getting a little feedback coming in here on our mics. I don't know if you're hearing it on your end.
No, it's not. It's actually not getting picked up on the microphones. I'm watching it's just you can hear it through the headphones.
No
Yeah.
problem.
Yep.
Some construction, sounds like.
There you go. Well, listen, hope they're building a nice building off the winnings that we're bringing them. That's all I can say. No, we got some interesting matchups in the NFL. I want to go to you because obviously the audience is looking to see what you feel is the best play on Sunday. You said you had a play you liked. Which game you looking at, Teddy?
I do. There's a lot of plays I'm 50-50 on, a lot of plays I'm back and forth on. That Detroit Lions is one that I do like. You brought it up and you kind of stepped away from it, but I that's not my play of the week per se, but I do like the Lions. Baltimore has been very hit or miss, and the Lions are super strong. And, I mean, the Ravens at home,
It's a tough game.
it's a tough game, but I would probably take the Lions here. But my game of the week are the Buccaneers on the money line. This is I'm curious.
I think they owe you one.
They do. Well, I had them once this year and won, and I had them once this year and lost. Now, when you look at the Buccaneers, the only losses they have this year are to top-tier teams like the Eagles and the Lions. That's the only teams that they lost to. They beat the bad teams. I think that Baker Mayfield is a much, much better quarterback than Desmond Ridder. They have a solid D. They're top 10 against the run. The Falcons' best thing they have going for them is this running back, this rookie Bijan Robinson. If they can shut him down and they can force Ridder to make plays, I think it's going to be an easy day in Tampa for the Bucs. And Baker had a really bad game last week. I think he has a nice bounce back this week.
I can't go without asking you about the big game next Sunday night. The Miami Dolphins, 5-1, best record in the NFL, alongside the best record in the NFL, Philadelphia Eagles at 5-1. This is going to be an interesting game. Any take on this game at all? Any lean on a game like this, being the fact that you're so tight with the Dolphins down here in Florida?
The odds, one thing is it's hard to be a fan when you do what we do, because at the end of the day, you have to root for the numbers and you have to root for the money. Right. But That being said, I think the odds makers have been disrespecting the Dolphins all year. I look back at the Giants line. They were only like 6-point favorites against the Giants. That was ridiculous. Now, they were a little bit more respectful last week with that 14-point spread, but the Dolphins have been disrespected all year when it comes to the line. Probably not going to bet this game. You got a lot of emotion, prime time. Cool thing about this game is you got two Tuscaloosa quarterbacks going up against each other.
Yep.
And
Tua against
they're
Jalen
both very
Hurts.
good. Now, one interesting thing about this is if you look at Tua, he's still healthy right now, and a big part of that is his release. If you look at his passes, his completions, he has the fastest release right now in this season among all quarterbacks for his completed passes. I think if he keeps that going, I would, if I'm not putting something super on this game, but if I did, I would lean Dolphins.
Well, I'll tell you, bearing bad weather only, I love this game to go over the 51 points. I think it's going to be a shootout. I think these two quarterbacks are going to showcase against one another just from the Tuscaloosa factor. Their offenses can both put points up. They can move the ball through the air. They can move the ball on the ground. I think that these teams are not going to be able to stop one another. They don't really have the greatest of defenses. I mean, Philly's defense is probably a little more superior than the Dolphins at this point, but that Dolphin offense, man, they can find ways to score. And I know the Eagles can definitely find ways to score. So I don't see 51 being an issue at all. Going over that number big time on that game. I love the over 51.
I like it. You just gave me an idea. I might tease the over with the Dolphins. That brings the Dolphins to like +9.
9.5.
9.5, and then it brings the total down to 44 if you're doing a 7-point teaser. I actually really like that now that you bring that up. And it's not just two Alabama quarterbacks. These are two quarterbacks that
two great offenses.
But what I'm saying is they were side by side in Alabama. One was the other's backup. So
Well, didn't Tua come in to replace Jalen Hurts in the championship game, right? And then he let him down to win the championship.
yes,
So
they did.
there's a little animosity, maybe not, but who knows?
Well, they're definitely friends, but
Yeah.
friends are competitive, and there's going to be some competitive nature. Definitely going to be the game of the week. Definitely going to be the game to watch. I wasn't wrong about college game to watch last week with the Oregon-Washington game. If there's one safe bet, that's maybe a guarantee. It's going to be going to be the most entertaining game of the week.
I would say I would have to agree with you on that one because I think the Dolphins' offense is explosive. I think Philly knows they have to be as explosive, and I think there's going to be a lot of passes through the. It's just going to be an exciting game. That's the bottom line. And I see if they execute, and that's the key, they don't turn balls over, they don't stop touchdowns and turn them into field goals. I think these teams are going to put the ball in the end zone and score a lot of points. So
If you had to pick one while we're on, who's covering?
I like the Dolphins.
Yeah.
I think the Dolphins beat them. I think the Dolphins can beat them right now. Now, if you came back to me 5 or 6 weeks from now, I might have a whole different outlook on the game. Weather can depending, on the situation. But if the weather's okay, which I hope it is, because you never know if it gets cold and rainy and the field turns into a bunch of shit, that could hinder the whole game. But as of now, I'm hearing the weather should be okay for that game. And, right now, Dolphins, I think, with the momentum. But I wouldn't leave it at 2.5. I'd go to +3 on that game at least. So,
I think I'm doing that teaser. I'm gonna go on my sports book right when we leave here and put that teaser in.
now, the players know about teasers, right? Obviously, they know how to adjust lines and get teasers. We're talking about a teaser.
If someone's watching this, you take two games, two teams. Now, you got to be careful because some of these sports books, they're not allowing same-game teasers. BetMGM does not allow same-game teasers. I have a complaint with them there. But it's basically taking two moves, a total and a side, or two sides, moving both of them 6 to 7 points, and getting pretty much even money, maybe 120 or 130 to get back 100.
Yeah, they like you to play like when you play two-team teasers, two separate games, and adjust the points. Like, if you're playing another matchup and lowering or raising the points with another matchup, totally different, lowering and raising the points. You get 7 points added on or taken off to what side you like of that game.
One more thing, though. If they want to eliminate the black market altogether with sports betting, you got to let these players do more stuff. You got to let players do same-game teasers because if they can't do it on your site, they're going to go somewhere else where they shouldn't be going and do it. So open it up a little bit. I know the sports books want to make money. let players play same game teasers.
And one other play I really like on Sunday, you got Arizona traveling to Seattle. Seattle played a fantastic game against Cincinnati. They made a lot of key mistakes inside the red zone, like 3 separate occasions. They were inside the 10 and didn't come away with any points. Geno Smith has just been having a pretty solid, good year. I just think the Seattle at home is going to bounce back. Pete Carroll knows what to do, how to get those troops moving after a loss. And I think Arizona is going to be in for a long day. The line on this game is Seattle's -7.5. I would definitely bring it down to 7, not 7.5. But I don't think it's going to matter because I think Seattle's going to railroad them. And I think they'll win this game by double digits, at least 10 to 15 points minimum. So I like Seattle in a big bounce-back game because they are a solid team, and they can definitely show up and they can blow people out, especially at home. Seattle, -7, best bet on Sunday.
Wow. All right.
You want to talk a little before we go, a little quick synopsis on this Major League Baseball right now? We got 2 teams that's dominating them series. Looks like Texas up 2-0 against Houston, and you got Philly just smoke showing against Arizona right now. I don't know. Is anything going to stop those 2 from getting to the World Series? Do you see it?
I said it. No, I mean, the Diamondbacks are completely out of their league. I said this on last week's episode. I said whoever comes out of the Rangers-Astros series is going to win it all. The Phillies' bats look incredible right now, but I am going to stand by my prediction that right now I'm going to say if the Rangers come out of the series, which it looks like they will, they win it all.
Man, they're looking good. How many in a row? They've won like a ton of games in a row. Like before they got into playoffs, I think they won some. Then they swept the last one, and they're up 2-0 in this one. They're playing dynamite, and Philadelphia seems to always catch fire at the right time. This Bryce Harper, man, he's the real deal, and he's got some power hitters around him now. That's a dangerous team in that Philadelphia. They just put up a 10 spot last night. It's like they stole that game. It was a joke, but. I think it's going to be Texas and Philly. I mean, I'm not really putting a ballsy play out by saying that, but it looks like it's going to be Texas.
Who do you think takes it between those 2?
I just think Philly's unstoppable right now on offense. Yeah. And you know what? Look at Nola, Wheeler. You know, their key pitchers are pitching really well too. I mean, Nola's like on fire his last several starts. This guy all of a sudden turned it up big time. So they're going to be tough. I mean. I just don't see them being stopped.
You got Nolan and Wheeler, but you got Scherzer and you got Nathan Eovaldi for the Rangers. It's going to be a great series. I'm still on the Rangers. I'm not abandoning my play.
All right. That's good. Don't jump ship. Stay on the ship. But anyways, before we wrap up, obviously, again, the Big Kahuna couldn't make it with us today. I hope we did a show that he'll be satisfied with. I think we did. All the people out there, you know, he'll be back next week. Don't worry. He's not going anywhere. He'll be back joining us next week. Before we go, can you tell the people where they can find all your great information on a daily basis and how to come across your winning selections?
Absolutely. For Instagram, @the_profits with a PH _pick. TikTok @thesportsprofits. YouTube.com/@thesportsprofits. Check us out. We're giving this free stuff plus more.
Guys, this man knows his job. He knows what to do. He's an expert. If he's telling you to find situations out there, listen to him and take advantage of it. All right, you could find me each and every day. We put up stuff for free all the time on social media, on TikTok, @SM Picks, PICKS, and on Instagram, @SM Sports Picks, PICKS. Check it all out. We're just trying to give you stuff that we feel that we can help you get some good advice and give you some winning advantages to show you the confidence we have in our plays each and every day. All right, guys, it's a great show. I appreciate you being here with me, Teddy, this week. Big Kahuna will be back next week. Don't worry about that. Believe me, he'll have a lot to say. He's on a little assignment right now. But check out our show on all podcast forums, guys. All the podcast forums, whether it's Spotify, Apple, you name it, we're out there. It's the one and only OSB Sports Podcast. I am Scott Matthews. We'll see you back here next week.